My Brave Year of Firsts, Tries, Sighs, and High Fives by Jamie Lee Curtis and Laura Cornell. The first time I rode my two-wheeler alone, I crashed and my mom filmed it on her iPhone. I crashed and I crashed. Dad ran out of steam. He let go. I went straight. Mom filmed as she screamed. I got my first pet, a rescued lab, Keith. I chose him 'cause we were both missing front teeth. I'll take care of him, I said with a boast, till the first time I picked up his poop, it was gross. The first day I walked straight into first grade, my teacher, Miss Apple, said, "Don't be afraid." At first I felt like I might not fit in. Then I made my first friends, my very first twins. I struggled at first to learn to tie shoes. My sweet Auntie Cookie showed me choices to use. Bunny ears, classic, loop over, under, through. I tried and I tried till at last I could too. I took riding lessons on a pony called Ace. The first time I fell, I got a scrape on my face. But then I held on and I learned how to trot. That giddy up is go and whoa is to stop. First grade was fun. New firsts every day. What a hominem was, and what elephants weigh. Not all firsts were fun. Some firsts were hard. When I stole Zoe's pencil, I couldn't play in the yard. I asked for permission from my parents to walk with Keith and the twins first time round my block. We took some supplies and carried Mom's phone. We felt all grown up to be out on our own. I went with my class to the public library. At first it seemed huge and a little bit scary. Then Joel, the librarian, got me my card. I found my first book. It wasn't that hard. I also got caught in my very first lie. My parents were cross and I started to cry. I learned a first lesson, that to stand up and say I did something wrong starts to make it okay. For the very first time I worked with my father. At his restaurant I would not be a bother. I put out the hot sauce that makes your ears steam. As a waitress, I was a real part of his team. My firsts kept on coming. My first pony show, my first tummy flu that made me go and go and go, my first big girl heels that made me feel tall, my first ballet class, my first game of t-ball. A fabulous first, my triathlon medal. For my age group, a swim, run, and pedal. I raced against time. It was quite a test. While some tried to win, I just tried my best. I got my first case of the giggles in school when the boy 2 seats over started to drool. And the milk I was drinking came out of my nose and I turned very red from my head to my toes. I wanted to learn to make a rope skip. But for all of my tries, I just learned to trip. It was very hard to connect hands and feet. Till the first time it worked, it was quite a feat. I found a small beetle who was missing a leg. I got him a box and I named him Greg. I punched a few holes to save him from cats. I added some grass, my first bug habitat. I got my first bee sting, and boy, did it hurt. I shouldn't have walked barefoot in the dirt. I sold some flat rocks, and I painted a sign, and I made a donation for the very first time. I tried for the first time to taste my mom's truffles that apparently come from when pigs use their snuffles. She put them in pasta with broccoli stems. "Try it," she said, "but I'll never like them." At the end of the summer, I tubed on my own. I bounced on the water like a skipping stone. The lake was all glassy, smooth, dark, and cold. I held on and signaled just like I was told. And after the s'mores, we camped by the lake, my very first tent that my dad let me stake. All cozy and warm in my bag with a pad, I thought about all the fun firsts I'd had. I climbed the big rock. I was old enough now. My dad showed me step by step so I'd know how. I looked down at the lake. I jumped without fear. When I came up and smiled, the entire lake cheered. Some firsts just happen. Some come when I try. Some firsts make me smile. Some firsts make me cry. But I knew in that moment, though I've known all along, that first things first happen when I'm brave, true, and strong.